Good afternoon. My name is Specialist Barrientos, and today I'm going to be teaching a class on orientation of a map. Now, before we start off into the class, I just want to say that right now the risk assessment for this class is going to be very low. We're out in the field right next to the barracks of the air traffic controllers, but you also got to be mindful of the wildlife because we do have squirrels, we do have ants, bees as well, and other flying insects. And then another thing I want to say is it's still hot, it's still very, very humid, so you're gonna need water to stay hydrated. Okay. For this class, we're gonna need just two things: a map and a compass. But not just any compass; it's gonna be an aesthetic compass. So when orienting a map, what is the first thing you have to do? The very, very first thing you have to do. Okay, that's right. You have to orientate it to the north. Okay. Now, before we go into actually doing the activity, how many norths are there? All right, good. So there's three norths. There's true north, grid north, magnetic north. So today we're gonna go hand in hand with magnetic and true north. Okay. Now the reason why we can't use true north is because true north is usually made for a nighttime kind of situation, and that we're of course doing it during the day. And so true north is pretty much based on the constellations, and majority of the people really use true north, well, the North Star, as their true north, when technically it's not going to give you a precise north direction. It's not going to give you an exact 360 degrees. It's going to be slightly to the northwest or to the northeast, depending on where you're going, you know. So today we're going to do just magnetic and grid. However, to orientate a map, there is three ways to orientate a map. Now, does anybody know what those three ways are? Okay, since nobody knows, there's three ways. There's using a compass, which we're gonna do today, right here. And then there's using a terrain association. Now, terrain association is pretty much, you know, there's a road right here to the right of me, and you just look at it and you just orientate your map to that road onto the side. So however you have it, for us, it would be this way. That's your terrain association. You just have to, however you're seeing the road, is how your map is going to be facing. Okay? Now, another way is using field expedient method. Now, the field expedient method is pretty much goes by saying, remembering the phrase, going, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Now, why is that important? It's important because when you don't have a compass and all you have is a map, the terrain association goes hand in hand with the field expedient method, because when you don't have you have it set right here and you gotta go, let's say you have to go southwest, okay? Without using the map, obviously you have it right here. Our north is gonna be that way for the grid north, okay? Automatically goes hand in hand with grid north as well. And then wherever so your north is right here, wherever the sun is, so it's mostly to the west, you just have to use the shadows. That's how field expedient is. Now, I'm sorry I went too deep onto that one, but the using a compass, you're gonna have a compass, which at first we're gonna have to do how do you say it? we're gonna have to do the magnetic north. So magnetic north, you go right here. You have your, instead of compass in a 90-degree angle, you have your lens in a 45-degree angle. And without using your glasses, because your glasses do get in the way, or your eye pro, whatever you use, it does get in the way. It's like through the holder, you put your thumb in, and you grab it as if you're grabbing a pistol. If you ever shot a gun, you'll know, you'll understand. You grab it, and then you put it to your cheek. This is called the compass cheek method of finding your magnetic north. So you put it to your cheek, you just move. You gotta make sure everything's all aligned. Boom, north, right? So you got your north, and that's the compass cheek. The other method of finding your magnetic north, you put it out flat. Now between your cheek and to your belt, it's gonna be center hold. And you don't want it close to your body, like right onto your body, but you want it close enough where you have a good foundation, steady hands to it. And you want to have your elbows in as tight as possible so you won't move, so you won't stagger. Hold it. Boom, north, right? So now these two techniques that I'm about to discuss goes hand in hand, because you got to determine the direction of the declination and the value from the declination diagram. Okay, now for this one, what you have to do is, for the first technique, it's you moving the compass and the map together to find the magnetic north. Okay, now when you move it, you want to move it slowly, because if you move it too fast, it's going to throw the compass off. Okay, you just want to move it slightly, and boom, north, right? You got your north right here. You moved it perfectly. Now another way of doing it is, what you can do is, again, you can have your compass like that, and then you yourself just shift your compass slowly. Until you get it. And then however you want to mark your tally, you just mark it, and then you'll know. You just shift, and that will give you your north. But at the same time, you also have to put it back into it. Now all of these go hand in hand, because like I said, if you're not using true north, you're going to be using magnetic and grid. Now if you want to convert your grid azimuth to a magnetic azimuth, of course, what do? You add or subtract the GM angle, right? So if you're converting it from grid to magnetic, you add. Or some maps do provide you to do the vice versa. You would subtract. Okay. Now, for our sake, for the Fort Rucker map, excuse me, what you want to do is you want to add the 3.4 to convert it from grid to azimuth, right? Now, another thing, for our sake, because we're going to use the magnetic azimuth majority of the time, we're going to have to subtract 3.6. Okay. So, again, get your compass, go back, 90-degree, lens 45, good foundation, and then make sure everything's in line. boom, north, right? So 360, what's 360 to subtract 3.6? It's gonna be three. It's gonna be 356.4, right? Sorry. Okay, 356.4. Now, what you want to do is, because of course we're doing it to magnetic to grid, we're gonna put it to our north, right here. Okay, and slightly, using the first technique, you want to shift it to the right, because when you shift it, your tick on your compass is going towards the left. Okay, you can just shift, and boom, there's your grid north, right? Now, another way you could do this is, whenever you plot your point, say the first thing you do is plot your point, boom, okay, then you orientate your map. Okay, once you plot your point, let's say your point's right here. You find your 360. You find your 360. Put it back, orientate it, find your 360. And without shifting the map, you shift the compass. Like that. Boom. Right there. Okay? Right then and there, you just got your grid azimuth. I mean, you orientated your map into a grid north in two different techniques. Okay? One without shifting the map, and one with shifting the map. Okay? Right now, we're going to take an assessment, see if you could do this in the correct way, in the correct form and matter. I hope you taking notes, because it's fairly easy. You can't mess it up, really. But once you have your notes, and if you don't understand, you can always ask me. I could run it with you, but we're gonna try to do it by yourself. Okay? Like I said, I hope you're staying hydrated. The risk assessment is low. Teaching the class is low. Taking the assessment is gonna be low, because, again, you just need to stay hydrated and just not mess with the wildlife, right? Okay. Now, is there any questions? Okay. So, what do you do if you can't find your magnetic north? Well, you gotta make sure if there's no damages on your compass. You gotta make sure everything's aligned, that it rotates, the needle rotates perfectly, smoothly, because it can't throw your magnetic north off. Okay. Any more questions? Why you can't use true north? Okay, great. So the reason why you can't use true north is because, like I said, it's gonna throw you off either to the east or to the west when you're going north. It's mostly used for the daytime, versus the military, you use land nav during the day. Okay. Also, another thing, when you do this, you want to be able to do it outside of a big city, or close to a big city, because the electric magnetic waves can throw away or can throw off your magnetic north. Okay. Now, the magnetic north is, always remember that the North Pole is going to be your magnetic north majority of the time, because that's where most of the magnetic fields is going to be at. Okay. Is there any improvements? Any sustains? Okay. This is the end of my class. So go ahead and do your assessment. Stats on arriving. Today we conducted a class with 10 soldiers. 9 out of 10 soldiers passed the assessment. 1 soldier did not pass. So at 1900 today, later on in the day, I'm gonna get with the soldier and go over it with that soldier and see how I can assess him even more and clarify the class for him.